I bid you good morning, good evening, and good night. Good afternoon, wherever you may be watching this transmission. Welcome to a very special, informative edition of Can't Read Market Talk. I am your humble host, Mike Martins. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get caught up with the markets. I do Can't Read Market Talk. I'm going to get back into it a little bit more. A lot of people have been emailing me, asking me, Mike, I really like this little segment you had for a while, and then you kind of stopped doing it. It's just trying to juggle so many things at once. It's been very, very tough. Just getting things in order. Like, life is busy when you have three kids. You know what I'm saying? But it's such a blessing having children. I love it. Okay, saying my computer's malfunctioning here. All right, no problem. Okay, what's going on, guys? So, welcome to Can't Read Market Talk. Let's take a look at the markets and see what's happening. The S&P TSX is down 52.29, sitting at 16,845. The S&P 500 is down 0.93, sitting at 3,111.83. The Dow is down 29.30, sitting at 27,620. The Canadian US dollar is sitting at 75.88. So it's been hovering around the 75-cent mark for, I don't even remember how long I could remember. It's been sitting at the 75-cent mark. I think we're going into about 8 months to a year now, sitting at 74 for a bit. We got crude oil kind of itching towards $60 again at 58.81. We might see a $59 barrel by the end of the day. Who knows? And Bitcoin is at 9,660 Canadian, which is about, oh man, I got to look into that. I got to see what that is in Canadian, in American dollars. And we got CMC the crypto 200 is at 149.25, up $2.01. Gold. Now, a lot of people got their eyes on gold right now, especially with this had story here. We'll get to it in a second. Gold futures sitting at 1,484.60, up $4.40. Russell 2000, very important market to follow. This tells you if hedge funds are gaining or losing, or trick or treating. This Russell 2000 is at 1,616, up 308. And the 10-year bond is sitting at 1.79. I'm surprised it's still up that high. I'm really surprised that it's up at 1.79. I remember 6 months ago when the poop hit the fan, when the poop was ready to hit the fan, before they started injecting money into the repo market injections. I remember it was sitting at 1.4 and it was dropping like a rock. We got the NASDAQ right now down 3.87, sitting at 8,562. So there it is, guys. So lots of big stories here in the headlines. BlackRock executive out after allegedly violating relationship. So global head of active equities at BlackRock is leaving the firm following an alleged violation of the company's relationship at work policy. Oh, interesting. Your smart TV could be spying on you. Yeah, AJ over on InfoWars has been talking about that for like 20 years now, and everybody laughed at him. Now, look what's happening. Your smart TV could be spying on you. Condo insurance premiums are spiking in Canada. Guys, I covered this last week. Condo. Watch out. Condo insurance are actually spiking. Here it is on the channel, guys. Where is it here? Right here. Condo insurance rates surge 50 to 300%. Guys, that's a huge deal, guys. That's a severely huge deal. You guys have no idea. We got BC Matrix in the house. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're having a good morning. BC Matrix in the house. Always got my back. Okay, so let's get back to where we were. Guys, send me a tip on PayPal if you like. If you can, support me on Patreon for $1 a month. That's $12 a year. I'm on Brighton. I'm almost filled up with videos. I got to get more views out there, which I'm getting towards, so I can unlock the next level to 100 videos. And then I'm on BitTubers, and BitTubers is working out, and you're allowed to stream on this. So this might be the new YouTubers This might be the new YouTube BitTubers, not sure, but I am getting a lot of views on my videos that I normally wouldn't have on YouTube. So just giving you guys an update on that. So get over to the platforms. You could find my platforms at the top of the computer here. At the top of the page, you'll see it there. All right. I'm also streaming on all these platforms right now as we speak. So let's get back to business here. Back to business. All right. Stock market news updated. All right. Let's go back here. Sorry. Billionaire Stroll seeks major Aston Martin stake. Ooh. Another foreign investing acquisition. Canadian economy resilient, Bank of Canada deputy. So they're saying that the Bank of Canada could handle this. The Bank of Canada designed. Oh, we got Area 51 in the house. Oh my God. Dude, come by the shop when you get a chance. I need to say hi. I need to say hi to you, man. I can't go at least a week without seeing you. We got Mike L in the house. We got Mike L saying, yeah, condo insurance rates are going through the roof because all these new condos are built like crap, and I'm sure they're going to have a huge repair cost in the future. You know, this goes back to the Opal Tower in Sydney, in the Olympic Village. Now, it's just a new update in the news that they're blaming the engineers for cutting corners to save money. So, if those of you that don't know the Opal Tower, it's an absolute disaster. People were evacuated last year on Christmas Eve because they were hearing cracks. What kind of investment is that? Now they can't sell them. They can't sell those condos on 10 cents, a nickel on the dollar. They can't get for it. So Canadian economy is resilient. Well, how resilient is it? Well, you know, just before the election, the federal government launched this huge, we created 41,000 public sector jobs. Nobody really cares about public sector jobs. Stock market news, December 5th. Stocks paired some of Wednesday's gains, and investors considered mixed commentary around the U.S.-China trade prospects. Guys, look for gold and silver to rally because of this unstable or China, I think Trump, in my opinion, is going to play ring around the rosy with China and not give him a deal, period. Okay, stock market live updates. Wall Street gets a lift from jobless claims. Saudi Aramco. So, guys, we know what's happening in Saudi Arabia with them leaking that they're going to basically start upping production in their oil productions. So watch out for that, guys. So we might see a lower barrel of oil unless something happens in that territory, right? So in finance, UN climate talks amid to pave the way for global carbon market. Oh my God, they're still doing this crap. Berlin, on a cold afternoon in late November, Jan Garnett of Berlin, I can't read that, eyes the chimneys of Berlin's Hauserath state-of-art power plant and supplies the city with heat. So basically looking like, look at all the smoke providing this heat for these people. They should shut this off. I don't need to read it. I think that's what it says. Airbnb introduces new rules to rein in parties. Okay, so, all right. Do you remember the house party? I think it was in Toronto, and I think there was a house party in Pittsburgh, and I think there was a house party, I think it was in Miami. They Airbnb'd a house, and man, they paid their $80 or $110 for the day. Man, did they get their money worth. They partied and partied until I think somebody got shot. So, you know, that's a party and a half right there. So, stocks fluctuate as trades focus on bonds drop, markets wrap. Stocks fluctuate as investors weigh the chances that the U.S. will scrap a tariff hike on Chinese goods scheduled for December 15. And S&P 500 suggests struggling to find a new high. Okay, I covered this too last week. Is Santa Claus going to save the West with Christmas? Is Santa Claus, are people going to be spending money during Christmas? Well, they're trying to scrap Christmas and remove it. and calling it holidays or whatever. And now a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth. So a lot of people just don't celebrate it anymore or don't go out and buy stuff for people anymore. Holiday money saving strategies that can backfire. Holiday makers have your number and they know how to entice you to spend. You try to rein it in, but two favorite strategies can lead to spending more. So watch out, guys. And then these are the 50 best universities in the world. They're still trying to sell the university. They're still trying to sell the university thing. Guys, unless I'm not downing education or anything or putting it down. Guys, unless you have a really good top, something you could get into, that you know that they're going to hire you, or you speak multiple languages and you can get yourself out of the West. So let's say you're like in Canada, like my kids. If my son wants to be an engineer, that's great. But then now, because he has dual citizenship to the European Union for Portugal, if he decides, because he's part of the Portuguese Commonwealth or Portuguese Union, the CPLP, then he could just go to Brazil then. It doesn't matter. He just goes to Brazil and becomes an engineer, actually really makes money, and joins the middle class going to rich or people. You know what I'm saying? He could go to Portuguese Africa. There's a lot of places he could go to. He doesn't have to worry about competing here for jobs. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, in finance, mass strikes in France shut Eiffel Tower, trigger clashes. Paris, Eiffel Tower shut down, France's high-speed trains stood still, and tens of thousands of people marched through Paris and other cities on Thursday. So, guys, remember the Gilets jaunes, the Yellow Vest movement in France is going strong, and I covered it on the channel the other day, where farmers were throwing hay in the inner circle there, the circle loop thing, that area there, where they were throwing hay and they were sleeping out on the streets, sleeping on their tractors, and they blocked it all up with tractors last week because they're sick and tired of farmers not making enough money to eat. That's so ironic. The person that makes the food can't eat. Yeah. There's still time for golf amid Venezuela oil industry collapse. Despite economic chaos and political paralysis, Venezuela's bulged oil industry has still found some time for one long-standing tradition, the charity golf tournament. The country's oil chamber and industry group and Chevron Corp and a handful of American companies are still allowed. Wow. BC Matrix said enough is enough. Yeah, people are, when people get to a point where they have nothing to lose anymore, guess what? It becomes problematic, right? So finance, Pelosi sets to shut down vote on Medicare and drug negotiations. Finance, again, with Bloomberg, America's worst economy is still waiting for its Trump bump. Wow. All right, we're getting into, here's a good one from an hour ago. Uranium miners rise after Trump panel urges U.S. buy domestic. Yeah, keep it in the house, boys. These countries have enough resources. These countries, one thing that China doesn't have, especially with these trade wars, is they don't have the resources. They have to pillage Africa. They have to pillage all these other countries, right? And I'm just picking on China today because I just hate communists. I hate communism, hate the whole communist idea. Capitalism works only if wages stay in line with inflation. Capitalism is the greatest thing, but if wages don't stay in line with inflation, you get left behind. Tignim, I heard Canadians banned from traveling to the U.S. There's a lot of Canadians being banned right now from, a lot of them are being hassled at the border, are getting the third degree at the border, and it's getting tougher and tougher, and for just the average Canadian to go down and shop, a lot of Canadians, kind of having a really, really, really tough time just going in to visit family, right? I got a lot of family in New Jersey, and Massachusetts, and Providence, Rhode Island, and I really hope it isn't a problem to visit them when I need to visit them, whether it's for a wedding or a funeral or something, right? Okay, here we go, guys. Bloomberg, BNN, Bloomberg picks. All right, what are their picks? Geopolitical issues are the great unknown for the global economy, says Blackstone Group CEO. Yeah, here's the problem. We don't know what the left hand is doing or the right hand is saying to the left hand. We don't know. We are in such a heavy decompartmentalization, right? I can't even say that word right now that we just don't know what we're putting together anymore. We don't know whether we're taking to give or give to take or we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's the problem now. We're so decompartmentalized right now that we don't know what the end game is. So we got this doing this, we got this country doing that, we got this country lowering rates, we got these European countries in negative rates, we got this happening here, we got this financial unrest in this country, we got riots here, we got protests in Chile and South America, we got protests in Colombia, we got, I think Lebanon is still in protests right now. So, there's unrest right now in Iran, and I don't know how many people died in the last riot. You know what I'm saying? So BlackRock, okay, we read that one already. No need for Canada to move in and step in with U.S. on rates. Bank of Canada's, remember Bank of Canada, we had the Raven on the show last night, basically stated that Bank of Canada kept its rates firm. Oil holds gain as OPEC ministers gather for a Vienna meeting. Oil held its biggest surge in more than 2 months as signs of a potential U.S.-China deal and tightening American crude stockpiles bolstered prices ahead of the OPEC meeting. Scotiabank's wealth management drive pays off with earnings lift. Bank of Montreal's drive to improve efficiency has come with a cost of $357 million, along with most of dramatic job cuts Canadian bank in more than 15 years. I think it was BMO that laid off, was it 15,000 or 2,300? Yeah, there you go. Layla, right there in the comments. Mike, BMO let 2,300 people go. That's right. That's how they empty out or turn these companies into empty shells and continuously, basically, let people go. Okay. Wisconsin government signs bill making hemp program permanent. Chinese investment in U.S. commercial real estate. This is a big deal for Western United States, guys. This is actually a huge deal in Western United States because a lot of it is Chinese investing. We covered on trends in the housing market, and it was really sad to see last night's show how we have this. What is it? There's more empty homes in LA County than there is homeless people. So basically, when you mathematically tally it up, there's about 3 empty homes for each homeless person in LA County, and there's 47,000 homeless people in LA County. And they keep playing the supply versus demand game. Why? So this is a little bit of an important tidbit of information here. We gotta kind of maybe look at this here.
When the markets are without a trade story, and the one that we're chewing on this morning has resulted in the steepest sell-off in more than 2 months' time. Let's walk you through the latest. U.S. President Donald Trump, along with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and other world leaders, are in London for a 2-day NATO summit. The president was asked about how close the U.S. is to reaching a deal. Instead, the president signaled he's willing to wait another year, perhaps until after the 2020 election, to get something done. Here's what he told reporters.
Again, I think they're playing this ring around the rosy thing, guys, to be really frank with you. And I don't blame the president for doing this because right now, I think America needs to reclaim some of it back. You know what I'm saying? BC Matrix is saying 2020 is going to be a scary year. Yeah, guys, I'm going to start making t-shirts. I survived 2020 t-shirts. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't want to be gloom and doom. Let's just see what's happening in the markets here with this trade deal. Because now the Chinese are no longer investing in American real estate. Could this really be... Could Trump really be brilliant, like super brilliant in a way where he needs this to happen to save his people? We won't know until 100 or 200 years from now when something happens and manifests in the future where people actually start looking at why things were done the way they are. Because right now we're living it, right?
In some ways, I like the idea of waiting till after the election for the China deal. But they want to make a deal now, and we'll see whether or not the deal's going to be right. It's got to be right.
Now, the reason President Trump is being asked about a deadline is because December 15th had been seen as a key date. The Trump administration had threatened to impose tariffs on more Chinese imports starting at that time, and the fear was that without a Phase 1 trade agreement, those tariffs would take effect. This week, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross described that as a logical deadline. And don't forget that a move like that doesn't just impact China. It has the likely impact of raising prices on a range of goods in the U.S., and that certainly could trickle into Canada. So here we go again, wondering if a trade deal is near or far. And for investors who felt the global economic picture was improving, in part because of easing trade tensions, it's raising a lot of questions about where stocks go in the month of December after those record highs in November. And I'm not just talking about the U.S. markets. Of course, we're coming off a very strong TSX performance last month, the best monthly performance since January. Let's get more perspective.
All right. Fair enough. So Chinese and U.S. real estate is plunging. Canadians deserve credit for not taking credit. Some Bank of Canada holds rates steady. We covered that earlier. Aeroplan workers ratify collective agreement after joining Air Canada. So this is it, guys. It becomes a bigger. Things just keep getting. Have you guys seen the TV series or the Netflix series Stranger Things? Well, you remember that blob thing that kept taking in stuff? That's what's happening. Companies are buying more companies, and they keep bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And remember that old saying that your teacher used to tell you about bullies are? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And that's true, guys. We got Jordan Retro in the house joining us on Can't Read Market Talk. So what else is going on here, people? The estate planning, insurance, property, and property taxes, guys. Do you guys remember the video I played for you guys yesterday? That actually, let's bring this up. I gotta bring this video up again. This is actually an important video that needs to be addressed immediately. Again, guys, this is gonna be our downfall right here. So they're giving credit here to CBC Radio Canada for this, and this is very important.
Of the Times on South Granville, a message of protest and one of
So rent reduced. This is, I gotta actually read this out for the people listening to us on Interstate 10, Truckers Association on I-10. Rent reduced to compensate for insane property tax.
Desperation by the building owner to find a tenant.
So I've dropped my rent, as I have no control over the property tax part of it, by about a third.
For would-be renters, it's very tempting.
I have calls almost every day from interested parties. They ask me what the rent is, tell them the rent, they're still interested.
And then he tells them the property tax.
$53,000 a year, about $44.
$53,000. $53,000 a year for property tax.
$100 a month.
For this place right here. Right there. And that's not even right downtown. That's a little bit of ways away. Because if you look here,
and so, Peter,
on the street they're on, they're still up a little bit further uptown here. They're uptown here.
Point I have.
That's $53,000 a year. Guys, I'm not trying to be like a lot of people are complaining, Mike, you're not bringing up solutions, you're about gloom and doom. No, I've been talking about this for 2 years now. How they're going to have to, with the mass exodus of actual middle class, and the working middle class, working poor, whatever you want to call it, mass exiting these major cities. These cities need to flip their budgets. They got deficits to fill. They got bus drivers to pay. They got garbage men to pay. They got a lot of people to pay. Do you guys understand this? They need to pay these people. They need to pay these deficits off. And what did they do? Look at yesterday's video I posted. One of the big video right here. Insurance, it's not insurance. Where'd it go? Here. Vancouver tax hike, 9%. People are talking about Kitchener, Waterloo going up 4%, Cambridge, Ontario going up 3%, Chicago going up 2%. Milwaukee going up 5%. Look at Vancouver. It's already expensive to live there. See, in Milwaukee, the average house benchmark price is still $135 to $139 gets you a decent house in Milwaukee. Here in Vancouver, you need at least $1.8 million to get a house that's kind of needs about $600,000 in repair. So that is not good. Okay, and going up 9% is even worse. So, okay, hold on, we got comments here. Mike, I have gone to numerous malls in the GTA. I see plenty of vacancies. Yeah, Stevie Stevens in the comments. We got to get him on the show. I don't know why he doesn't call into the show. Add me on Skype, guys. Mike Martins, 1980s. Shoot me a message and tell me who you are, just so I know. And we got lazy. We got lazy. What's Elf? I'm going to message him right now. Yeah, let's get him on the phone here. It looks like he's live. It looks like he's available.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Hey, oh my God, it's Lazy Elf. Buddy, you're live right now. You are live. I decided to do a Can't Read Morning Market Talk show.
Okay.
So, live. Thanks for the contribution to the channel. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. I just got to shut down some things that'll make noise on my computer here.
Oh, are people messaging you on ICQ?
No, I run a business on my computer, and I've got chat boards and all that stuff up and running. So I've just taken down the stuff that'll make noise.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. People know people are busy. People have a life. So am I delusional? Are we entering? Okay, we are so decarpentalized. Whatever. I don't even know how to say that. In what's happening in the world that we don't know if we're tricking or treating. We don't know what country. There's countries in riots. Countries. Political unrest here. We got protests here. We got rates going up here. We got rates dropping into negative territory. We got them trying to take cash, eliminate cash. What's going on in your opinion? Just give us an overview of what you think is happening.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of things I could talk about, and keep in mind, I don't know where to focus on what you're asking about. I like.
Okay, what keeps you up at night the most? What keeps you up at night the most? Worried about whether it's economy, whether can you feed your family, whether is gas going to go up high? What keeps you up the most at night? What's the most worrisome thing that you have?
So what I see happening, and I can only verify it by the research I've done. So I don't even actually know if my beliefs are right on the money. But I see governments all over the world printing money. I see what you've been talking about for years now about the money coming in from China, what I call the Ponzi scheme money coming in from China, buying our real estate so that it's pushing us out of the market. And I see my own kids can't afford homes like we did, like you and I were able to afford homes when we were younger. I see them not being able to do that. My overall fear is that we're pushing things up so high with debt, and the governments are printing money and they're buying stocks with this money, so the markets aren't even valid anymore. It makes me worry about how is that going to unwind. And my feeling is that we've had such good smooth times that in my entire lifetime I've never experienced what my grandfather did in the Great Depression, where he said to me when I was just a young man, not even a man, I was probably 13 years of age, and what he told me was that one day you're out looking for a 20-foot long sailboat, to purchase and sail for the next summer, and the next day you're walking down the street and somebody is grabbing you by the ankles and thrusting you in the air and trying to shake a nickel out of your pocket. So, I've lived nothing but pure bliss. Sure, I've had ups and downs in my life, but in terms of, can I go to the grocery store? Can I, afford my mortgage? Can I, get a job? All of that's been great. Can I raise my kids? All of that's been great. So what scares me is that all these excesses, what is life going to be like when it bursts? And I keep telling myself I don't have to worry about it when I'm dead. So I'll just try and live life and not worry about it.
Right. That's yeah. Wow, that's a big one. That was really good. You covered a lot, and that's what I was hoping that a lot of the stuff you said, I was hoping that you would say. Okay, now let's get to what state are you in?
I'm in the state of Ontario, my man.
You're in Ontario. I thought you were south of the border. I thought you were south of the border.
I know my Texas accent throws it.
Your what?
My Texan accent.
Oh, you're from. Oh, so you.
I'm just kidding you, Mike. I'm born and bred Ontario.
Okay. So I get it. You're from in the GTA area. I take it, right? I guess.
Yeah. I grew up in Mississauga. I think you mentioned you grew up in Brampton.
No, I actually we immigrated when we immigrated from Portugal. We lived on Dufferin and St. Clair. Downtown.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And then I lived there for most of my life. Well, not most, until I was like 20, and then I decided to leave the nest. But my mom moved to Brampton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And those were good times back then. I got to tell you, man. I hear you talking about how good things were in Canada, and they were just fantastic. I would love to go back to those times.
Me too. I want to be like Uncle Rico. Remember Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
He's living in 1982. I can't blame him. I cannot blame him for wanting to live in 1982, because I mean, we had it all, and then it's just, So you agree, I guess, with this massive economic takeover. What do you see now that you're living in Ontario? And then, once in a blue moon, I go on Zillow, and how do you feel when you see these 6-7 bedroom houses selling for under $200,000?
Well, I've been wrong on real estate for 15 years now. When I look at a house that's going for $1 million here, and that's just about every single one of them, I look at it and say that's not worth more than $200,000. So I'm in some kind of time warp. I'm actually living back in the days of Napoleon Dynamite. I wish I could dance like him, but I'm certainly not. I haven't been successful in suggesting where the markets were going to go. I figured real estate was overvalued before the China thing hit, and I always thought we were so protected by our government, because I used to be in a business where if you money launder, you go to jail. Right. And so guys like me and you show up to the bank, and if you have $10,001, there's like alarm bells go off. But if you bring in $500,000 to $5 million through a well-known Canadian bank and you launder it through real estate, somehow the powers that be don't pick up on that. I don't get that. So, I don't, to say those U.S. prices, to tie it back to that, those U.S. prices are normal and healthy prices. What we have is just stupid, ridiculous, only can happen based on a Ponzi scheme world, and it's not even relevant to our economy right now. So it's not relevant to the average person making money, trying to afford rent and trying to afford a home. It's just not even relevant.
Let me ask you a kind of a theoretical question. Do you see theoretically them removing cash and working in a cashless society in turn so they could go into negative rate territory? Because we are headed towards negative rate territory.
I don't have any opinion about that. Most of my opinions are about a completely different topic, which is like the 5G that's coming out. But I don't have any valuable opinion on cryptocurrencies and the such. I just don't.
Okay, no big deal. That's it. You're being honest. That's fine. But okay. That's why I said theoretically. Like, do you think that's their plan? What's the plan? Okay, what's okay? In the end, let me ask you this: what's the end game? What's their end game in the end?
I think I don't think they know what the end game is. I think they're just pushing this thing out. They look. They might read different books and have different conversations with different people, but all that knowledge doesn't mean they know what they're doing. I think that I think basically the Fed, the governments that are printing money. I think it's a criminal organization now that's gone mad. I think that they're basically scrambling, because if they don't do that, I think they have to do the unwind, which is, what do you call it? The unwinding of all the debt. And eventually we're going to have to deal with that. And so I don't know what the end game is. I watch a ton of videos with well-known money managers who are calling it the way they see it, and they're saying there's the biggest crash is coming in their lifetime, and these guys are in their 70s, and I don't think there is an end game. I think it's just I think it's a keep the rich wealthy by inflating assets until it pops, until it's gone. So I don't have an answer for you.
That's fine. That's okay. So Event Horizon, what do you think the Event Horizon is going to be? Do you think it's going to be the big Event Horizon that leads towards the fall of the West? Do you think it's going to be housing is going to trigger it off? The phony markets are going to work it. Is it 5G going to roll out and start? What do you think is the big Event Horizon? Do you think it's the social credit score that they want to start unraveling here in the West to kind of watch over you? Well, what could it be? Is it climate change? Is it there's so much on the table, and they keep trying to shove so much down our throats. But what do you think, in your opinion, would be the major Event Horizon that actually puts everything into play?
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned several things, and there's a few more to add to that, like a pandemic. That would maybe go along with global warming. All of these things are in competition for one another.
Right.
Like they're all literally out there. They're you can see them, and the question is which is going to happen first. There's the political unrest. There's the social unrest in all these countries that I see on all these videos, including yours, and on the TV. Well, not so much on the TV because they don't report news anymore, but all of these things are competing for one another. The thing that's in the most forefront in my mind is we can't control what's going to happen with global warming. Whether it's us or not, we're just going to drive that truck over the cliff. And we can't. I'm more concerned about countries starting to rebel against their governments, but I still think that's a ways off. And I think the one that's the biggest trigger is a combination of the Chinese banks dissolving. They can't get any more money, and then either it triggers a war or it triggers a stampede of people in China disgruntled against the government, and they have their own kind of internal conflicts. But I believe that whole system just has its teeth into every part of the world, and it'll just melt things down. And so each country is going to scramble for how they can keep their own populations from, attacking and robbing one another because the system has crumbled. That's just me. All those other things could happen at any time, and we just don't have control over that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's. I mean, I still remember we had back in 2012, we had the Mayan calendar ending, and everyone's freaking out. Then we had those global warming summits that Florida will be underwater. Last year, Florida should be underwater. Then we got this whole EMP thing we went through, where if we got an EMP attack with our crumbling electronics and stuff, and our infrastructure crumbling, electrical grids are crumbling, and if an EMP, and then we went back to the war on terror again. Then we went back to basically the war on drugs for a bit with along the Mexican-U.S. border, and then we went back again to climate change, and then now repo markets. It's always like, you know what I'm saying? It's a never-ending story, but it's just it just adds another chapter to our, I guess, unknowing, I guess, and maybe, I think, in my opinion, this is my opinion, we created Frankenstein's monster. We haven't kept our markets on autopilots, and we haven't basically done the right thing by learning from our mistakes from the past, and now we've created this monster, and we don't know how to kill it or put it back in its bottle, or how to fix this problem that we have now.
That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. And there's forces in the world that are trying to shift this to socialism, and that didn't work. It seems to me like the leader of this country is trying to crash it as quick as possible so that he can inject a socialism regime. And it sounds to me like that's what they're trying to do in these other countries, whether it's pure socialism or some kind of mix of something. They just seem to want to take the world in a different direction by destabilizing the Western countries' financial strength. I don't know where that's all going, but but the way you just coined it, though, that rings for me. That makes sense.
Yeah. We're in a perfect storm right now. Everything's coming together, but I don't want to be gloom and doom, but all the indications, a lot of people, oh, Mike, you're just gloom and doom on your channel. I'm not going to watch you anymore. It's like, well, we need to address these issues because, like you said earlier, the news doesn't broadcast news anymore. We need to come together and talk about this at least, right?
Yeah, look, I'm a doom and gloom guy. I mean, your audience will pick up on that the minute I said hello. But I have to remind myself that I watched something on the news, again, probably YouTube or something like that, where like an ad came up, I think it was, and it showed, these people in Bangladesh are running from their towns being burned down. I don't know who's burning them down, but they're living beside rivers, and they're crossing rivers, and there's thousands of them, and that's, they're living it. We're sitting here in our country and things are really, really good, but it doesn't stop somebody like us from looking at it and forecasting forward and saying, hey, we're driving this truck off a cliff. What can we do about it? And we don't have the power to make that change. So all we can do is talk about it. You're right. We got to talk about it. I don't know if that's going to help, but it just seems to be the way it is. So I'm, I spend way too much time looking at this stuff and taking it all in, and it certainly is a positive, healthy thing to, if one can't unplug from it, is to know what's going on, but also find ways to keep the positive in one's life. Because I'm not living any doom and gloom in reality right now. It's just all in my mind. I think all the decisions that are being made are wasteful, and that, we could have it so good, but we don't. And yet my life is pretty blessed here without, any real tragedies or struggles.
Well, there was one university. I spoke to a university professor there from York University about a week and a half ago, and he told me that a lot of kids now, students, there's a transforming in students where now they're getting degrees so they could get to the United States. That is scary. What happens to our educated and our, that is a scary thing that he told me. He's like, everyone, they say, oh, when I get my degree, I'm going to move to Houston, or I'm going to move to Fort Worth, Texas, or I'm going to move here because there's a shortage here, and then I could actually get out of this cesspool or this madness. So a lot of the people now in going into getting a lot of these higher levels of education, he's saying that a lot of them majority of them are looking at the United States, and some of them are looking at Europe, and a lot of them are looking just to go back to their Central or South American countries because they believe they could do a lot better out there than staying in Canada. So the Canadian brain drain, I think, is a real deal. How do you feel about us losing a lot of our best doctors and losing a lot of our skilled workers to south of the border? A lot of Canadian news media outlets are trying to say that the Canadian brain drain is a myth. It's not real. But from what I'm getting from emails and people, it's huge.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of knowledge in that. I have opinions. I don't have a lot of true knowledge in that area. But I think it's market driven. Like, if you don't get what you're worth and you're in this country and there's a better offer that comes along and you're mobile and you're free to move, then absolutely that's going to happen. And in this country, it's ripe for it. We've got a lot of talent here, and there's better offers south of the border, and so people are going to go. But you know what? That vacuum just creates more opportunity for whoever remains here or whoever decides to immigrate to the country. So it's just a revolving door as far as I'm concerned. We 10 years from now we could be talking a different story, and the wave could be coming back this way.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You could have more talent coming in too, but when I was talking to a good friend of mine who is a ticket, he's a very specialized ticket processor over at one of the major Toronto airports. He's telling me that more people are going to Europe, selling out here, and
Right.
buying one-way tickets to Europe in huge numbers.
Yeah, I think I read something brief on that too, and I forget the mood of the article, but something is telling me that the mood was that they're just fed up with the way Canada's shifting. And I think you're talking about Canada in that regard. Canada's shift. Canada doesn't, it's a different mood. Politically, it's just a different mood. I mean, if you're coming from a country with lots of buckets of money to buy our real estate, then, they'll pour you into the country as quick as possible. But if you're more of a European, I guess, person that's immigrated, then those sweet days seem to be behind us for now.
Yeah.
I think what I mean by that is the opportunity for somebody to come here with nothing and build up the country. We've done it. They've done it. The country has been built up. Now it's a game of who's got the most money, pile them in here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we got uncharted waters. Someone saying we're headed into uncharted waters right now. Yeah, with the Europeans, I think this European, especially a lot of them with the skilled trades, I think this is going to cause a little bit of a backlash because they're selling their properties off. They're not reinvesting the money in the properties they bought in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They're not reinvesting it back into Canada, so they're actually taking it to Spain, Portugal, Greece, and those countries are actually seeing the benefit of this too, from what I've been hearing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about that.
We're just talking. We're just talking here now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but, Mike, I do have to say I answered the Skype by chance. I'm glad we're on the conversation, but I have a very hard stop in 7 minutes.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. I just wanted to get you on because I saw that you were on, and I said, you know what, let's get Lazy Elf on here, and if you want to be a regular or you want to come on the show from time to time and give us on any topic, you're more than welcome to come in and give us some experience. But haven't you noticed, I guess, watching my channel, because I'm trying to grasp the whole Commonwealth. Aren't you noticed? Isn't it baffling that it's Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and Western United States, and all the Commonwealth is in this bizarre pattern of being bought out? Haven't you seen? Yes. Are you seeing that too, or is it just me?
No, totally. That's totally what's going on. I'm not a well enough educated speaker to speak my mind on this. It'd come out a little bit broken. I don't know if my message would be clear, but I've been struggling ever since Trudeau got into government in our own country, and watching he picked up where the Europeans kind of left off when in terms of leading the charge on it not being okay to be Canadian anymore. To not have Canadian values, and that kind of flowed at the same time that we were noticing that tons and tons of foreign money were coming in, buying out the West. Now, those purchases had been going on before actually awareness of it. So as the awareness was coming out, it's like, hey, this is in tandem with messages from our own government that it's not okay to be us anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's scary.
And that seems to have flown across all the Western countries, and there's very strong voices that are almost like I can't think of the words for it, but it's like if I despise myself, and that's my voice, it's like our leaders and the education systems are touting a message of we need to despise ourselves and lay down the carpet for every other way of being on this planet except our own. It's not okay to be Canadian. It's not okay to celebrate our values. It's not okay to ask a question like, who's going to pay for all this border crossing, mm-hmm. right? All of a sudden I'm a racist. That. This is the kind of stuff that is really unsettling, and I see it all across Western countries. But if you go to any country that's not a Western country, what do? They hold up their values, they have a nationalist sense of pride, and they laugh at our countries because we're saying, hey, waltz in and take us over.
Mm-hmm. Like Mexico. You can't buy in Mexico. I tried to buy in Mexico 2 times. They wouldn't sell to me.
Yeah. No, I get it. And this is, I'm shocked and dismayed that that's not the way it is in, Canada. Mm-hmm. We have a very wonderful immigration policy, and there's no shortage of people coming into this country. But, we shouldn't be bought out and not be able to buy a home because they've been taken off the market and they're sitting there as empty homes owned by foreigners that don't even live here. That's craziness, and it's not a recipe for any success for anybody, not long term. Mm-hmm. Well, look, I got to go, but what I'd like to do is talk to you about 5G at some point.
Yes, we're going to do 5G. Maybe Mike of the Night's too late for you. We'll just do a private show together sometime during the week, okay?
Yeah, Lazy Elf can't stay up past 10 o'clock.
Okay, Lazy Elf, you take care now. Stay strong, and eye on the prize, okay?
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Take care.
Ciao.
Ciao. So that's Lazy Elf in the house, guys. 2-time world champ. On the show to weigh in on what's going on. Yeah, we're getting a lot of new guests on the show. So guys, Jordan Retro needs to come on the show. We need who else we need to Steve Stevens needs to come on the show. There's quite a few people that we need to get on the show here. We just got to be careful because we got a lot of people coming on and causing troubles and like crank calling the show and stuff. And it's like, you know what? It's nice. I actually find it flattering that you have time. That you have time to do this. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, let's look at some stocks here. Eagle Plains Resources. These are a couple of ones I'm looking at myself that I invested in myself. Remember, guys, I'm not an investment channel. Right? We are not, we don't give a financial advice. We can't read. If you try to take an advice from a channel called Can't Read Market Talk, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So just do your own research, and that's what we're here, and that's what I'm here for, just to create discussion in the markets on what's happening. We went over this, and the raise in property tax is absolutely phenomenal. Remember, these countries need to flip their deficits. How are they going to pay their workers? How are they going to pay people? Well, let's look at a few more American side here. Let's look at Yahoo Finance here. Where's this? Yeah, here we go. There's the Bitcoin price in American, 5,592, and that's in Great Britain pound. Great Britain pound. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. So here are some big stories coming out of, Australia here. The burning problem driving Australia's housing affordability crisis. Not enough family homes are hitting the market, driving up the price that those are. Again, they're playing the supply versus demand when 1 out of 3 homes in Australia are completely empty. We got Lord Humongous in the house too. Wow, thanks for joining us. Okay, we got How to land the job in Silicon Valley? Easy. Just apply, you'll get the job, because nobody could afford to live in Silicon Valley with more empty homes than homeless people, and you're looking at 30, 40,000 homeless people. Yeah. What to expect from the 2020 share market? Coals to pay farmers $5 million over 10 cent per liter rort. Why are family violence services losing funds? Well, they can't afford to keep these things up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I keep telling you guys. Guys, we need to be together. We need to start, start calling up people you haven't heard from in years. Hey, are you okay, man? How you doing? I know we've been out of touch. Start getting closer and closer to people. Stop this crap with dividing within family and fighting within family, because it's crap. Driving into 2025, the future of electric vehicles. I believe it's going to be all electric soon, in the next 10 years. Fake tax agents stole $13K in victims' tax returns. Canned shops. Here's the problem with Australia. They don't tell you who the person is. Oh, it does. Actually, it tells you his name here. Okay. Because sometimes they just don't want to tell you who it is. And I don't know why. The same thing in Canada. They never tell you who is doing what. So you can't keep a lookout for these people. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if there's anything I haven't read from the other channel. Mining share prices glitter today, up almost 10%. Yeah, a lot of my gold and silver is doing really well today. I looked at that today. I took a bit of profit this morning. Let me see if there's anything else here. There's lots happening, but yeah, we had a good guest on. Hopefully he could be a regular on the show from time to time. Our man Lazy Elf on the show. Bob Smithers saying, Mayor John Tory has announced that Toronto property tax must rise significantly. Oh, it has to, because the prices of the value of homes are dropping, and the amount of people mass exodusing Toronto is phenomenal. Remember this this whole Douglas Todd article? This is a very important article because it sings songs. Right here. This one sings huge songs, guys. Aboriginals and whites leaving Metro Vancouver. So what happens when people of that city, born and raised, leave? There's no more infrastructure investing. There's no more people working the infrastructure either. This is dangerous when this happens. See? A net total of 9,345 whites and 460 Indigenous people left Metro Vancouver for parts of the province in 2016. 2017, it doubled. 2018, it tripled. And 2019, the numbers are just off the hook, where people just can't afford to live in these major cities. KCCPAC says Bayhorse is moving nowhere. Give it time. Give it time, guys. Nothing's going nowhere where it should be going. Just stocks that I'm in. This is what's happening, guys. Do you understand how dangerous? They need to raise property taxes big time. I covered this story. Guys, I'm on December 10th, if you don't see me anymore, I'm streaming on Mixer. I'm on DLive. I'm on Periscope. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Nemo TV. I'm on there right now. I'm going to just check the streaming here. And I'm on there right now, guys. I'm on all these platforms right now, streaming for the world to see. I'll be adding another 10 more channels to stream on. And we'll keep going from there. Guys, remember, if you don't see the channel December 10th, it's not me. Here are the other channels here, up on the top. Here it is. We got, we got BitChute, Brighton, and BitTubers. BitTubers so far has been my best bet. They have a good app for it. I'm diamond level now. I'm on a plus level because people are actually watching the videos I've been putting up. And I'm getting more views per capita per subscriber. So with my 25 subscribers, I'm getting way more views than I've ever gotten. Here we go. Better Dwelling just threw up an article right now, 12 seconds ago. What is happening? Canadian mortgage credit seeing explosive growth again. Canadian mortgage debt grows at the fastest rate in over a year. Well, it's Christmas time. Look at this. More people are taking more balances on their mortgages, tapping into their HELOCs, borrowing more. And look at this. They're so not building equity. They're not wealth building. Mortgage credit has seen explosive growth recently. And outstanding mortgage credit change, obviously, here it is in the last year. There it is, going back to 1990. Wow. So you're seeing this, guys, where Canadians are in a rush to take out mortgage credit once again. Bank of Canada, BOC, data shows major jump in borrowing. The increases in some of the highest growth foreign mortgage debt and is primed to explode even bigger. Guys, pay attention to this. We discussed this. 1, check your property taxes before you buy anything, or where property taxes will be headed in the next 2 quarters. 2, insurance. Remember, we covered this on the show. It's very important. Insurance. Insurance. Where the heck is my channel? Insurance. It's dangerous. Look. Here it is on the show. Condo insurance rates set to skyrocket 50 to 300%. Vancouver property tax hike 9%. Australians in a household recession. No disposable income. China's defaulting on $17 billion. Guys, pay attention to your surroundings, and that's what this channel is about. Do your research. Let's come here and talk and go from there. Yeah, Solid Extra's insurance is a ripoff. Karen Farney is saying a good way to get you taken off the tubes is to tell the truth about flat Earth. Bob Smithers says, I had police check done on my last property purchase. Crazy. Wow. Well, they got to make sure, they do a police check on you, right? But what about all this illegal $200 billion that's being laundered in via our real estate, via fentanyl sales, destroying Canadians? And what about those people? Like, doesn't anyone get checked? I don't know, man. I'm what do I know, right? Okay, guys, we're approaching I'm past my 1 hour. I want to thank everyone that came on. Guys, get on these I'm going to plug these channels right now for you guys to find me. Here it is, BitTubers. Get over to BitTubers, guys. I need you guys on there. At least it lets me stream on there. It lets me do 1 stream a day. Get on BitTubers. I have 25 subscribers. You know what? If I don't pass 100 subscribers on BitTubers, I really don't care. Do you know why? I'm getting so much more views with 25 subscribers than I'm getting on YouTube with 11,300 subscribers, which my subscriber change has not changed by 1 up or 1 down. It's been at 1,300 steady for the last, I don't know. It's been, if I go into the analytics, it's 11,300 exactly. Ting Nim is saying, I'm trying to sing on Patreon. I'm trying to sign on to Patreon. Yeah, Patreon's easy. Patreon, you get onto Patreon, it's easy. You could donate. I'm asking for $1 a month. I got 22 Patreon supporters. I'm trying to get 25 by Christmas. There's Patreon, guys, if you guys want to get on there. $1 a month, $12 a year. And if I could get enough people to kind of jump on board, that could help out. And it's nice. Pays my internet, pays my power, pays all the crap that, constantly upgrading computers now. Jesus. There's always something that's better, that's going to make you better. Oh yeah, Lord Humongous has a Patreon. Leave the link in the comments there, or leave it below this video when it gets uploaded. Lord Humongous is also getting things done. He's also on this one. I saw Lord Humongous on Brighton, from the Humongous Land. He's on here. Yeah, he's on here. I've seen him on here a few times. Actually, he comes up. And it's nice to see like a mix of different channels getting their stuff seen, Getting their stuff seen and BitTubers too. I'm on BitTubers. When you go on the BitTubers, like on the page itself, I actually come up quite a few times on here, which is really nice. I mean, I don't expect it, but I come up quite a bit actually on here. People notice me on here, which is really nice, you know. I'm just trying to see if I could find anything for myself. I haven't posted on here. This is all today. This is all from a few. Oh, this is all from a few hours ago. Okay, so I haven't posted. You got to go way back down the list to see my yesterday's posts. There we go. Mixed. There we go. It should come up on here. I usually do. Lots of club music on here, cooking channels, video game streams. Just all kinds of stuff, man. I really do come up from time to time. A lot of people message me. And even on BitChute, if you want to get over on BitChute, every time I go on BitChute, it shuts down my transmission. So, oops. There's my video from last night. All right, guys. Let me know what you guys think. And comment below. I'd like to know. And if you're just joining us, go to the back of the video. We had Lazy Elf on the show, bringing us some fresh content. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.